This is The Space Shot, episode 189 for November 19th, 2017. A landing and a rendezvous at the Ocean of Storms. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. On November 19th, 1969, the Apollo 12 lunar module, Intrepid, landed on the moon, the second landing of the Apollo program. Apollo 12 was an all-Navy crew with Charles Pete Conrad in command, Richard Gordon, who recently passed away, as the command module pilot, and Alan Bean as lunar module pilot. The three men launched on November 14th. Check out episode 184 in case you missed that electrifying episode. After a multi-day cruise to the moon, the lunar module and command module finally separated, and the call for PDI, or Powered Descent Initiation, was given. Out of all of the mission audio I've listened to, Pete Conrad is probably the most entertaining out of all of the astronauts. Yesterday I was musing about how it would be great if Conrad had had something like Twitter during his mission. His gregarious attitude and good humor would be welcome. I'm going to play a few minutes of audio from the powered descent to landing, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pick up who Pete is in this clip. You'll also hear astronaut Alan Bean calling out fuel percentages and descent information. I've shortened this clip a little bit, cutting out certain segments to make it a bit more manageable for length for this episode.
That's it, there's LPD.
Roger, copy, P64.
1,000 update. Hey, there it is. There it is. Son of a gun, right down the middle of the road. Outstanding, 42 degrees, Pete. Hey, it's targeted right for the center of the crater. Hey, look out there. I can't believe it. Amazing. Fantastic. 42 degrees, Dave. Just keep talking. Slide it in. 42, we're passing 3,500. Coming down at about 99 feet a second. You're looking good. Got 15% fuel. I'll reset my watch.
Intrepid, Houston, go for landing.
Over one. I just want LPD to the right a little. Roger, okay, Roger. 40 degrees, LPD, Pete. 40 That's degrees. So fantastic, I can't believe it. You're at 2,000 feet. How far? The boys on the ground do okay. 1,800 feet up, 39 degrees. You got 94 seconds of LPD time left. Okay, I want to move forward a little bit. 38. 38 degrees, 36 degrees. You're 1,200 feet, Pete. Okay, 1,000 feet coming down at 30. You're looking good. Got 14% fuel. Looks good out there, babe. Looks good. Nice. Hey, look at that crater right where it's supposed to be. Hey, you're beautiful. 10%. 257 feet coming down at 5. 240 coming down at 5. Hey, you're really maneuvering around. Yeah. Come on down, Pete. Okay. 10% fuel. 200 feet coming down at 3. Need to come on down. Okay. 190 feet. Come on down, 180 feet. 9%, you're looking good. Gonna get some dust before long. 130 feet, 124 feet, Pete. 120 feet coming down at 6. You got 9%. 8%, you're looking okay. 96 feet coming down at 6. Slow down the descent rate. 80 feet coming down at 4. You're looking good. 70 feet. Looking real good. 63 feet, 60 feet coming down at 3, 50 feet coming down. Watch for the dust. 46.
Low level.
42 feet coming down at 3, coming down at 2. Okay. Start the clock. 42 feet coming down at 2, 40 coming down at 2. Looking good. Watch the dust. 31, 32, 30 feet coming down at 2 feet. You got plenty of gas, babe. Hang in there.
30 seconds.
18 feet coming down at 2. He's got it made. Come on in there. 24 feet. Contact light.
Roger, copy, contact.
John. Pro. Yeah, pro. Okay. Storm off. Okay. I'll cycle these valves. You got your descent engine command override off. Yep. Okie dokie. I'll cycle the main shutoff valve. Okay. Cross feed closed. You get both regs closed, babe. The regs are closed. Good landing. Pete, outstanding, man. After arm on. Beautiful. He's got that. Fire. The book turned over. Okay, we're in hot shape, Houston. We're in real good shape.
Roger,
Pete. Over this. Engine stop, you pushed it. Yep, pro. Mode control, both auto. Both auto. Spin engine command override off. Off. Engine arm off. Off. I got the 413 in and cycle the Parker valve. Okay? Man, oh man, Houston, I'll tell you, I think we're in a place that's a lot dustier than Neil. It's a good thing we had a simulator, because that was an IFR landing.
Roger,
I'm
Pete.
glad I was high, Al. I know it. Holy crap, it's beautiful out here.
After landing, the crew prepared for the first EVA, which took place at about 115 hours into the mission, or about 5 hours after touchdown.
Man, that may have been a small one for Neil, but that's a long one for me. I'm going to step off the pad, Mark. Ooh, is that soft? Hey, that's neat.
That was Pete Conrad again, the third man to walk on the moon. You just heard his cheeky, self-deprecating comment when he stepped foot on the moon. After finishing EVA number 1 on the 19th, the crew spent a short and restless night in hammocks they had set up in the lunar module. On the 20th, it was time for the second EVA and a walk to Surveyor 3. November 20th, 1969, was the first time that humans had rendezvoused with a spacecraft that had landed on another celestial body. When they walked over to the Surveyor 3 spacecraft, they did something that will be of profound importance for future missions. Meeting up and docking in low Earth orbit is one thing, but launching different spacecraft at different times and then linking up on the surface or in orbit around another world is something we will have to routinely do when humans push back to the moon, then on to Mars and beyond. Pete Conrad did indeed have a big leap on this mission. Before we end today's episode, I've got a few quick notes. First, an asteroid sample return mission highlight. On November 19th, 2005, the Hayabusa probe briefly set down on the surface of asteroid Itokawa. The initial contact with the asteroid didn't yield a sample capture, but a subsequent landing did. The spacecraft returned to Earth, landing in Australia, where it brought back less than a gram of material from the asteroid. Even with that minuscule amount, scientists were able to get information on the composition of that asteroid. On November 19, 1996, the shuttle Columbia launched on STS-80, the longest mission in the history of the shuttle program. A crew of 5 astronauts spent 17.5 days in space conducting experiments and deploying satellites. On STS-80, Story Musgrave became the only astronaut to have flown on all 5 space shuttles. I'll talk a little bit more about Story Musgrave in tomorrow's episode. On November 19, 1997, the shuttle Columbia launched on the STS-87 mission. One of the experiments during this flight looked at the growth of dendrites in microgravity. Dendrites are a type of crystal that looks kind of like a tree, and they can occur in metals and alloys. You've probably seen dendrites before. If you live in a chilly climate, especially this time of year, you may not have known it though. If you've ever seen a snowflake, you've seen a dendrite. Dendrites can also affect the batteries that power our electronic devices, everything from phones to laptops, so mitigating or stopping the growth of dendrites is important for battery design. I'll have a little bit more on STS-80 and 87 over the coming weeks. Since you're here, why don't you let me know what you think of the podcast by leaving a review on iTunes. It takes just a minute to do that, and it makes a huge difference because it helps even more people find the show. Also, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of the daily episodes. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can also hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes. Tomorrow, Zarya. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.